Shall we listen and react to ourselves? That's something people like, right? I'm people. I want to search. Is this searching the podcast thing or is it searching the scrolling for stuff? Oh my god. Wow. That is a lot of leg. Cozy. Did you just cut off all of our sound? Wait. I'm gonna change the quality. We're gonna go high quality, super high quality. Give me what I pay for, optimum. This is boring. I'm gonna do playback speed higher. I'm so nervous. That's how you can tell. I'm like, speed it up.
want to talk about sex work a little bit more because I built it into everything, and I'm really excited about it. You know, it was just such a clear and obvious premise to be like, well, sex workers obviously know a lot about interpersonal intimacy and, you know, putting their bodies on the line in much the same way that frontline workers, paramedics, cops, are also putting their bodies on the line. I want to make it clear, despite how undeserving so many cops are of our respect, for the way that they choose to approach their work, they are in a, what's the word? Like, their role does involve being on the front lines in some way. They are really well protected. They have some of the best, you know, armor, both legally and physically. But it doesn't mean that they aren't there on the front lines, which means
all the time, every day,
they are
in their heads.
A frontline worker. So I want to clarify that distinction. But yeah, the sex work stuff, it's really interesting. I was prompted recently to
all veterans deserve care,
so that everything actually reflects each other. For a while, the link trees were super fun to build. I had 2 trees, and this entire online presence is based on having like a main and an alt, and that dichotomy is all about privacy, like public and private. It's just mirroring what we already do socially in real life, and it's so the social etiquette of the current day is to always have like a main, a alt, and maybe even a third one for porn or something like that. You know, maybe you have 5 different accounts for the same platform and they all serve different purposes. You're allowed to. That's kind of one of the funnest things about playing online. It's like a video game with avatars, and you are just deciding to what extent you're playing and what kind of, you know, are you playing a quest-based sort of game, or are you kind of doing more open world exploration? That's kind of the layout, and part of that has just been the financial fuel of gamers in general, right? Like, games and gaming is a huge part of why the internet is so famous. So it can't be ignored when we talk about the construction of the social biosphere online.
Those teeth.
But yeah, I recently updated the link trees. The link trees reflect the main and the alt. And there's the alt, which does porn. Oh no. And memes. Porn and memes. And then the main, which does community participation and like eating out mostly, but traveling too. I keep thinking about Octavia saying you should worship the great lesbian in the sky, and I'm like, what if I just want to be the great lesbian in the sky? Like, is that allowed? Like, people could worship me if they want.
Here for those hands.
The voices in my head started in on me on that one. But yeah, I updated everything, and in doing so made the explicit content that I have produced more accessible, hopefully. I realized this weekend that it's not accessible at all. I thought it was all just very out there, but that was just the level of vulnerability that I was feeling about it, which has been a constant, reflection of, like, in the way that this has broken down. I started the sex work thing intentionally so that I could talk with more authority and more, like, living experience in sex work. Like, and I knew at the time that I was and am dipping a toe in the field, as it were. And so I just took that literally, the whole enterprise started out with making an OnlyFans for feet, and then getting a taste of the OnlyFans infrastructure, I was quickly like, ooh, this is disgusting. This is like McDonald's for people. And all I could think of was this hentai manga I'd read that was called like Ronald McDonald. Something like that. It obviously couldn't have been exactly that. McRonald's. It was called McRonald's. And it was just like about going to fast food and ordering women to fuck and then leaving. Like it was just, instead of burgers, it was women. And I'm like, I have a thing for objectification and all sorts of like, am I blushing? So that works for me in a hentai manga format, but it really doesn't work for me in like a real people format. You know, I saw OnlyFans and I was like, oh, this is gross. Hate this. Not a fan. And like, the thing is, there are ways, it's very much like Instagram in the sense that creators can make it their own, and they can do such a good job that you can get lost in their immersive world of themness. So in that sense, it was useful to me from a creative standpoint. Like, I got the comparison to Instagram and how easy it is for people to go from the Instagram like social scape to the OnlyFans social scape. There's a very easy jump because the structure is relatively the same, and the like modes of engagement are sort of the same. The economy is a little bit the same, so like, it's not a wildly different world. And to me, that's kind of how I think of it. You're like planet jumping between different planets. And they all have slightly different etiquette and slightly different structure and format and rules. But for the most part, it's not wildly different. And that's, again, part of the fun video game aspect of the internet. You are exploring an open world map, and what's extra cool about it is that technically you can mod the map yourself. And you can build your own planets, and you can do your own stuff, and you can do it for free. It just takes like elbow grease and labor, and it's less labor than what like physical labor in a sense of physicality, but it's a lot of cognitive load, and it's a lot of repetition, and it's a lot of meticulousness. So doing the grind of like building your own spaces online does take work and skill and knowledge and effort. For me, I have a lot of shortcuts, like mental shortcuts, just because I understand the infrastructure, like physically how the internet is built, and what it really is running on energy-wise, kind of like how calories in the body are your energy. You know, that system-based thinking that I have built and nurtured over my lifetime really serves me well in building internet personas, profiles, and spaces really rapidly. And so that's just something that I have a skill set in. And it makes it pretty easy to like build link trees overnight and repopulate them with my porn, which is what I did. And this is I guess, just like an awkward introduction to the fact that I have done this sort of thing. Although I feel like I have been very vocal about it the entire time. I've been telling people, I've been very uncomfortably transparent about the process. You know, I went into it a little bit before I was really ready, at least partially because I felt that was fair. Like, that was kind of an equalizing factor for the fact that I was opting in, and that I was not, you know, attempting, like, genuinely relying on it as an income. So it felt fair to me to, I don't know, push myself off the deep end into the it's not like, I mean, it was a pretty safe environment, and I felt very comfortable the whole time, and it actually reminded me of just early days of the internet, which to me, you know, in my developmental life, just meant it was normal. So it felt normal, and it was kind of cool in that sense. But yeah, I don't know. I've been restructuring my digital presence last night and this morning, and just thinking back to when all of this started and what I had hoped to gain and what I did get and where we're going with it. A huge part of the like discussion I'm trying to hold, the space I'm trying to create for the discussion, and some destigmatization work, whatever. A huge part of what I'm trying to do here is give a living example of what consent looks like when it's not coerced. And coerced consent is one of the biggest struggles in sex work. It's like no ethical anything under capitalism. Well, then how do you have ethical sex work under capitalism? You don't. Right now you don't even have legal sex work, so you don't have protections. It's like one of our most vulnerable populations is sex workers, and it spans genders and ages, and I shouldn't have to explain all of this, but I will. I know some people tell me sometimes it's just nice to hear it from me, so I'm trying. But it's a lot, this is a lot of stuff. I will preface that I would not have jumped into sex work if I didn't think it was hot. If I wasn't like, that's something I could get off to, then I'm going to do it. If that wasn't the case, I wouldn't have done it. That would have been like even less ethical. I don't know. I did a lot of ethics questioning. I was trying to complete a master's degree, so I did a lot of research classes, and just thinking about how this is really like a living social experiment, but it's not, that I'm not like using, it's on me. Is that okay? Thinking about being a human animal, participating in my own care, but I'm the caregiver, but like all of this stuff. I use BDSM a lot. I use top bottom, like thinking a lot, all these dichotomies, right? And just constantly flipping back and forth between these extremes, these mental states, attempting to care for myself, like provide wraparound services, and really just having myself to do it. And all from this perspective of like mental health and wellness. And then what does it really look like to consent without coercion, right? And so if I took this idea of like, I think it's hot, and I was like, if I think it's hot, then I can, in theory, I can like have sex in a public way, or like, public masturbation, essentially. But like encourage others to participate in me having sex with myself from a distance feels the most accurate. And if I think that's hot and I'm gonna just do that, then where's the consent? Because if you just jump on to any creator site and you start attempting to make explicit content as a creator, if it's video, there's like the most risk, and then sound is really popping off lately, and I feel like there's a lot more consent work built into the base of like the audio file niches that I've seen. And one thing that I noticed and learned right away was just that I am not at all an expert or a connoisseur in the porn industry anymore whatsoever, and that things have changed. Like things have gotten a lot better when it comes to the idea of coercions. In some ways, things have gotten a lot more within the creator's control. And OnlyFans and whatever the feet one is, I can't remember what it's called.
Footfinder.
Those two are just like the ones that got famous. There's all sorts of other things. Chatterbait was interesting. I recently found Red Gifts. I actually like them just because of like they are offering that one thing, and that is the thing that they are doing, and they streamlined it. Like anyway, My Free Cams was kind of the most accessible to me for a variety of reasons, and the framework, like the structure of the site was familiar to me, and it felt comfortable, and so I was like, yeah, I will do this site. This is nice. And it was genuinely really, like, it was really good for me. Prior to diving into this, I had been attempting.
Don't talk about that part.
No, I don't want to go there yet.
Yeah, no, you do not want to go there
This
at
is a
all.
big story. It has to be told in a way that makes sense and can
Or
be
not
heard.
told. We don't have to talk about that.
But yeah, I don't know, this question of coercion and consent and ethical sex work under our current economic, socio-political conditions, I mean, that's a huge beast to try to unpack, and I don't want to be the one to unpack all of it. I feel like there are more voices who can speak with more knowledge and accuracy and whatever. I'm just trying to make room for that conversation because I'm not seeing it in the moment, you know? And I think that everybody who's pissed off about Roe v. Wade, everyone who's pissed off about trans rights, everybody who's pissed off about Black and Indigenous genocide, you know, like we could go on, but everyone who has like righteous fury right now over the state of affairs could very easily rally behind sex workers if the stigma wasn't so bad. So I'm like, let us destigmatize sex work rapidly. Let's have some radical acceptance up in this building, and let's get behind sex work together as a family, and really make it ethical, and in doing so change so many other structures. I think that would work. That's my pitch. And so to make that pitch, I was like, well, I need to become a sex worker, kind of. And really, like I said, I just kind of dipped my toe in it. And I was trying to make the case for slow porn. I was trying to say, like, my biggest critique of the porn industry, of sex work in general, but, like, digital porn specifically, which was, you know, where I was specializing, not specializing in physical. Although I did very briefly attempt to sign up for Tryst, the cool new escort website, which maybe I shouldn't, like, out in such a public way, but I really like their verbiage. I love the way their site is set up. I love the inclusivity and the care clearly given to the escorts, and I was gonna say content creators. But yeah, it's a whole different world. I never fully went into it. I did kind of try, but I didn't try super hard. Like, and my heart wasn't fully in it, and I think that it was clear in the way that I was applying that my heart wasn't fully in it, and I was respectfully rejected from the group. But if you're into that, if you're interested, check them out. And yeah, so dipping my toes. Oh yeah, making the case for slow porn. So I'm like, I'm consenting because I think it's hot, but it's also like really new to me, and this is a world that I had never wanted to get fully immersed in for a variety of reasons that I feel are totally sane and reasonable. But like up till now, my previous chosen form of getting off was either, you know, love making with lovers, or erotica, sometimes hentai manga, but mostly erotica. And I could not watch real people have sex because there was so much implicit coercion in the early days, and like still now, you know, we live in a rape culture, so like how consensual is it? I can't, and I don't think that's insane of me, so I just, you know, do my thing. But more recently, in the last like 5 years, I have really just been focusing on like closing my eyes, feeling my way through my day, feeling all the ups and the downs, and just the way that I am in my body, and doing this super, you know, mind-body connection thing that's cool, and I just like feel the tension pooling in my pelvic muscles, and there is, you know, the tightening and then the release, and it's just so universally understood what an orgasm feels like, and I just do that every day. I can do it in 5 minutes, I can do it in 45 minutes. I have a lot of control over the length of time, and what kind of avenues my mind goes down. It's all very cerebral, and I'm having a great time, and so I'm very satisfied. Content. But curious. I have noticed that everybody's getting pretty liberated and sick with their own freak lately, which is really making me happy. Just to see, and I am just kind of basking in everyone else's glow. I'm getting the limelight experience over here, and I'm just stoked. And so, yeah, that's mainly what my sex work has consisted of, is doing this in my body, in the moment, sharing. I'll record it, or I'll get online and chat, and it's just like, when I feel it, I do it. It has to be that biological, because that's what you're emulating, is the physical, release that you share with a lover. So, I mean, in theory, or the physical release you're sharing with yourself. So, I'm thinking about physical release. When you're sharing it with the world, or like with the minds that exist on the other end of the screen, because at the end of the day, it's all about the minds. I was telling somebody the other day that, like, we aren't addicted to our screens, we're addicted to each other. The fact that we can access one another all the time like this, and like with so much intimacy and intentional, like, curated capability of like accessing other minds, we are fucking addicted to that. We're like, like, give me your brain. We're all just zombies, but like in ways we never expected we would be zombies. And it's hard to take, it's overwhelming, but I love it. And I've been a self described zombie for a long time, so I don't mind. This kind of goes back into cyborgism and how
you all saw that really cute zombie movie, right? More than
half of your cognitive,
I think it was called like Warm Bodies.
Environment, you definitely
so
count
fucking
as a
cute.
Cyborg, because your
great Halloween movie
is your nervous system. Like, it's your central nervous system. It is a system. It's a part of your biology. It is you. It's physical. It's real. It's truly happening. But it's happening on, an energetic level, the action potential of a neuron, which I think is negative 70, and then I don't remember maybe it's 71, 75. I'm sorry, my neuroscience teacher, I'm bad at remembering exact numbers. But, like, it's a physical, real thing that exists, and so to treat it like it's just some magical, questionable experience is just a really, I'm gonna say, really successful propaganda campaign. But that's my answer for everything, and at some point I start to sound very tinfoil hat, so you have to decide when to take me seriously. But
my mom says know when to choose your battles.
I spent last night and this morning kind of trying to make my slow porn more accessible, and it is very slow because it is so related to my moods. So like, how frequently do you expect that I want to share that much of myself with the entire rest of the world?
It happens so
it's
much like more frequently than you would expect.
Probably less. And I get early with it. I have been, up until now that I'm like debuting this as a concept, and pitching the whole like let's rally behind sex worker thing.
We really should though rally behind sex workers.
But in the R&D phase of everything, I was letting myself like have tantrums and moods and just the full range of my internal like experience relating to the thing, so that I could take notes about my boundaries. That's crazy. But yeah, during the R&D of it all, I was just kind of letting myself express as expressively as I want. So, you got the most authentic first time on that score. But I did get squirrely. I deleted stuff. I took things down. I aggressively like changed the game and the structure on the people who were kind of like trying to follow and support whatever the fuck I was up to, because I was clearly up to something. Like my No, I wasn't. I was trying to come in as transparently and authentically as possible, and it was awkward too. There were some really uncomfortable moments because of that. And I just very, and like when I was looking around at other models and other, mostly women, but other people that were online creating, I noticed that they were doing the same thing, and so it was really cool that you could just get that deeply immersed with people, and it was them. It was like them doing them things, and like yeah, there were trends and stuff that clearly works. So why would you not do it or use it? But it was also cool to see the unique, like, individual creators being just so very much themselves in a way that felt liberating and I hadn't seen anywhere else. So that was really cool. I loved that. I even made like a separate just normal user account so that I could hang out in other models' rooms and just like pay them and be a normal consumer of the media that I was attempting to create, which is so funny. There's so much that I like jump in as a creator. I've never been a consumer in my life. Have I ever watched or been a YouTuber? Absolutely not. Like as a consumer, I have used YouTube at the furthest extremity of like need, right? Like if I really have to watch a YouTube to tell me how to do something, I will, but I will read manuals first. I will ask friends. I will do anything else before watching YouTube. And it's not even a conscious decision. It's just like in the course of my online life, which began at the age of 11 and I have not been offline since I was 11 for more than a day or two. And that's like, backpacking in the Rockies or something. But for that entire time, when video content started becoming very popular and YouTube really started going off, I looked at what everybody was doing and how they were using it, and I was like, that's a cool concept, but I'm not into it right now, and I'd rather be reading, so I'm gonna go do that. And then I did. And that's really, like, my saving grace has been the fact that I would more often than not rather be reading a book. And that is a very long format version of taking in information and imagining something. It's very immersive. It's much like gaming. I think books and gaming are so similar that I literally couldn't make room in my life for gaming because there was too many books. My gaming extends to having had a couple Game Boys. I played the Nintendo 64 at daycare. And just occasional. I once pressured my mom to buy me an Xbox because I was dating a gamer and I really just wanted to get on his level, and I tried playing Fable for that evening and it gave me the worst headache, and it was Fable 3, but I hated it, and I was like, this is like I'm doing, and I think what I really hated was that I was doing it for him, right? At the time that was not as evident, but I didn't want to do it, and I've tried it since getting into games, but every time I'm like, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this because I don't want to be left out of the whole, like, what everybody else is doing? And every time it's not for me. So at this point I'm just like, next time I see a game and I want to play it, maybe I will. I feel like I had to say something about gaming, though, because gaming is going to come up again and again. It is a huge, huge, huge part of the internet and, like, porn and what drives a lot of things that are going on right now in the world.
Or reflects it.
The digital world.
Gaming culture is such a good way to keep track of, like,
stories that they are being told, everything.
Porn trends, because it's the fight and the fuck.
Current consciousness. I'm totally out of the loop on gaming. I have no idea.
Super stoked with the more realistic gaming faces, for example.
Or something, maybe more than a year.
I think the Tomb Raider
I just did not want
situation is just so fucking funny.
On my peers, gonna be real, and so yeah.
I mean, on the one hand,
in the outerverse, fucking off, and I mean that very literally. But I'm coming back. I made a YouTube. I don't know why.
She did have really big boobs, and where did they go, Like, I get that.
I
just watched Elvira for the first time. I get that. You're hypnotized.
and sex work, and my very tiny corner of that. Oh yeah, slow porn, consistency, trial period, R&D, consent and coercion, and things that are hot. Right. Okay. Yeah, so it's just like fixing the structure, and I've been slowly doing this. The thing is, like, again, with the idea of consent, it comes with knowing yourself. It comes with like understanding what you are or are not down with, and that's something I've worked on my whole life as just like an important part of being a woman, like being alive, being a person who doesn't want to be exploited, in an exploitative state. Yeah, so everything's been in real time, which means it's been very slow. I don't know, like, the idea is that you can slow down your porn style. You can mix up the type of porn that you are taking in. You can mix up the way that you're interacting with it cognitively. You can change the lengths in which you're engaging with it. You can change the frequency. There are all these things that you can do with your relationship with porn that can help you feel that you have a better handle on it. And that's the biggest thing. You know, I was talking a lot about porn addiction. I kept saying that word. And it was because I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about how many people think about it and struggle with it and relate it to Don John and, you know, all this stuff. And I've been kind of just watching this
John Don
unfold.
or Don John? I can't remember. One of them's a movie.
And I just need to tell people that you can kind of take back the power without losing any of the fun, horny orgasm stuff. Because, like, masturbating is good for you. Healthy. Do it. Do it once a day. Just about. You know, a little bit more, a little bit less. Normal human variation, whatever. But masturbating is super good for you. You should do it. There's so many health benefits. Look them up. I'm not that much of an educator, but people should be masturbating. And so having a porn addiction is more about feeling as though you are out of control with your relationship with porn, right?
Or out of touch with your body.
Like, I no longer feel like I'm in control. And so I kind of came on here today just to say that you can start taking that control back without shaming yourself, without restricting yourself, without you know, going cold turkey or doing anything violent to yourself or to your relationship with porn. It doesn't need to be a violent situation in order to take that control back. You can take that power and that control back through just some creative reimagining, pretty much. Think about the things that you are getting off to and why you find them hot. Try, you know, feel your way through it. Feel your way through why that's hot to you. And then think of, in that feeling process, other related things in the network, in the attitude network, in like the spectrums and the variations of why that thing is hot. Because, you know, everything's related. So it's a tree. It's a family tree. I know it's awkward. Yeah, cousin porn is, yeah. I mean, stepladder. But we can talk about all of the different types of everything, but not all at once. So yeah, changing and positively, creatively reimagining your tastes in a way that feels more in control. Think about it through the lens of a different medium. Use a different medium. You know, use erotica. Erotica is a great kind of palate cleanser in the sense that it forces you to picture things in your head. And then the way that somebody writes something is actually the thing that's going to get to you or not. Erotica is great. There's so many archives of stories and sex stories, erotica literature. Lit erotica, I think, was one of the major archives before there's some new ones out there. I can't remember all of them. I got a couple accounts, and then I was reading through stuff, and I was just like, yeah, I forgot, like, but that's good. You know, and we're not talking about that right now. Erotica is definitely my preferred means of porn, so I tend to get a little more blushy and squirrely with it. But yeah, I'm physically making the case for slow porn. I thought it was only fair to put my body on the line in that sense. And in that way, if I'm going to make the argument that we should rally behind sex workers and push for their legalization and their rights in a way that changes the infrastructure into a more inclusive space, if everybody jumped behind sex workers, I really think that could go off. And they have such an intersection of all of our most urgent, like, passions that I just feel if we break through that stigma, we could really do something. And then additionally, if you get the digital content creating sex workers on board, yeah, it could, oh my god, it could really go off. But outside of my pitch, the slow porn, doing this with my body online, erotic is great. Oh, yeah. So if you feel like you have a sex addiction, or a porn addiction rather, and you just feel out of control with your porn relationship, I would recommend changing up, like, the ways that you're ingesting, the frequency, the time period, the modalities, like, all of this stuff. But I would also suggest, like, thinking also about your biological relationship with your screens and your digital presence, because probably there's something else going on in your online life that is
Digital hygiene
pressure and relating to that porn relationship. So, all of that aside, the idea is that I am recording and uploading things to the various places. Ooh, I forgot about Soundgasm. How could I do that to you? So the worst.
I like the Soundgasm.
I started off trying to do all of this advertising through Reddit because it is my peer group and it would be the, like, best target audience, but oh my god, the amount of grinding that I should have been doing last year to make sure that the accounts had the right karma in order to use it as advertisement space this year, did not have the time or space for that, and now definitely am not going to be successful with the Reddit campaign. I might get creative about it later, but it's on the back burner for now. Okay. Soundgasm is temporarily up. It needs a thumbnail to be long-term included, but I feel fairly confident we can find an acceptable thumbnail. Everything has to have, like, a bio code and a logic code because algorithms are racist and sexist. Everything that is currently existing as a digital structure has some embedded and implicit bias. Aversive racism is a term that only recently gained, like, more widespread understanding, and I'm saying that with a lot of hesitancy living in California, so I'm gonna guess that the rest of America still doesn't really understand what aversive racism is or how it operates, or how we all just experience it. But basically, the long story short about racism is you really have to be anti-racist, otherwise evil will prevail when good men do nothing. It's just like an obvious observation of our current social.
Go ahead and just keep using quotes from World War II.
So
I know.
when combating biased algorithms, just as an individual human being, the big thing that I am always trying to do is mentally code each of my motions or movements or decision makings, like anything that is a if-then statement, a logical yes-no if-then, which is how computers work, right? Everything is if-then. and I'm always thinking of my high school history teacher who taught me to frame my my thesis or my theories as if-then statements, like if this, then that. But everything computer-wise is an if-then statement. So every time I'm doing a move, like how I just added the soundgasm to my alts link tree, it has to have a bio code that goes with it. And the bio code is some dusting of true, authentic me experience that has, you know, care, passion, interest, personal investment involved. So, for example,
Philip Pullman explains all of this in the History Materials series.
In this link tree there's a story behind each one. They have meaning, they have symbolism, they have significance, and you know, people are just going to do that anyway because the entire point of being online is to like be online, right? They want to put themselves online. They want to do the TikToks. They want to be famous.
They want to do the TikToks.
Have that social engagement at that level. It is a brand new level of sociability. We talk about how an individual's capacity for social bonds is roughly 150, but online, I'm pretty sure it can double. I know this from my own experience. So, you know, I might have 150 social bonds in the community, but I have 300 online. And that's not insane. I think that's just normal. And so that's the new ratio. And everyone is attempting in their own way to adapt to the new social, like, ratio, structure, rules, framework of a half digital, half physical world. And I'm being light with the halves because I think that for many people it's a full digital, partial social, or like partial physical world. And so people are living in these biased online environments and getting all of their information from that. And yeah, I'm not here to doom and gloom people because they get enough of that elsewhere. I'm actually here to just affirm that this is reality, but then also let you know that we can be socially creative and very quickly and very rapidly change whether or not it's impacting us negatively or whether or not we're getting a positive feed off of what's going on. So yeah, let's, I guess, find a thumbnail for the soundgasm. That feels like the move, right? And then I gotta eat some banana bread and brush my teeth. I made the banana bread with chocolate chips.
Banana bread.
It looks pretty good. Oh yeah, the TV is playing. There's a lot of motion between devices too, so I'm like sliding my brain between different size screens, but it's not just the size screen, you know, like this is an Android tablet, or an Android phone. It was built by Samsung-ish, and UI-wise it was designed by Google, so that's very different than Windows 11. With 4 monitors, 5 if you include the TV, and then my laptop too. Like there's a lot of different logical structures that I'm trying to move, you know, and flow seamlessly through. And I do think I've been doing a pretty good job, but I also think I've been trying to, you know, I've bitten off a lot, and that's part of the soundgasm. I mean, one of the most important things that I want the entire world to know is definitely about majority and minority influence, but mostly minority influence, but I don't think they're ready for that, and I don't think a thumbnail of it is gonna help. Okay, what else? Sounds. Maybe? Let's see. Let's see how that looks. If it's in a different mains, soundgasm, fuck you, pay me, red gifts, donate to Child Find of America, or visit me on my free camps. Okay. Yeah. That looks good to me. I think everything else is about as cleaned up as I can get it. One of the worst parts about all this, and one of the reasons I did it this... Wow, no, you're right. I shouldn't talk about that yet.
I have no idea what that one was about.
It's so hard to decide which things we're talking about. I like feet tree, flower, graffiti, handprint flower. 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 Yeah, but like, it's just not right. There's something wrong. There's just, I can tell it works. I can tell that it works. But I think that there is a better thumbnail, and we should use it. I'm going with my instinct, and my instinct is very horny, apparently. I mean, that's been sort of part of the... Yeah. Kind of difficult to tell what that is. Let me look at it on my phone. Maybe it looks better on mobile. And I have, like, most of my users are mobile, so...
My users. Yes, they're mine. My user base. I do think of my fans like my user base. It's
No,
the IT in me.
I can't use that one. Maybe the blue heart? It might be the blue heart. Yeah, because, I mean, the baseline premise at the end of the day is love. Like, this is about being a lover girl. It's about wanting love. It's about understanding and appreciating the human need for love and connection. It's about wanting to protect the human need from love, for love and connection from those who wish to exploit it. It's about rage, feminine rage especially, towards exploitation in a general sense. It's about love. It's just about love. It's an argument that love is God, that love can save us, that love is all you need. And I really believe that all human suffering is the root of our, like, all human suffering at its very root is the fear that love is not enough. And every time that you lean into love being enough, we stop suffering. I think we can elevate. I think we can evolve. I think we can adapt rapidly right now. in a radical, transformative, and loving way. I think if everybody just read Adrienne Marie Brown, like, if everybody, just had the time and space, because it's easy to get mad at people like, oh, the information's out there. It's possible, for everybody to educate themselves, and they're just lazy or whatever it is. But people do not have time. People have been, or currently are, very recently suffering extremely from a variety of generational and systemic abuse.
And trauma.
Abuses. Most people. All of us. I had a wonderful opportunity to heal from a lot of what I was suffering from, and I'm taking that brief window of feeling healed to share some love with y'all. And at the end of the day, that's it. And I'm trying to extend what that window looks like. I'm trying to extend what being healed looks like. I'm trying to share healing knowledge and make room for other people to share their healing and experiences and stories and suffering. But it can only go as long as it goes, and it needs everybody to participate. It needs everyone to get involved. And that is, again, part of the message that I am desperately trying to send is, no, it's all of us together. We're in it together. We are roommates with each other in the world in a global way. I know I'm missing some people out when I talk about the internet. I know there's people who aren't contactable and who are not getting the same living experience, but a huge amount of us are suddenly roommates with one another, and there is a lot of really cool stuff that we could be doing together if we can talk things out. And I think we should. I think we can just talk it out. And I want to help provide space for that. I want to help provide thoughts, conversation, discussion, support, resources. I want to be involved. How did that one look? Is that one good? We couldn't use the tree and we couldn't use the tequila. Can we use the heart? Ugh. Maybe if the sound gasm's at the bottom. I can tell from, the way that my heart is racing that, yeah, I can do flower.
Cryptid alert.
Yeah. Flower. The heart doesn't show up. Everything else has a very, strong presence, even from the desktop. But even though the heart is super high contrast color, the background is so full of concrete that it doesn't pop, and it needs to pop. Maybe this? It's just my shoe, so it's like I did socks and now we're doing shoes. It seems really... I did say it was so hard. Okay, but now I want to bring... No, that was really wrong. That was definitely not it.
Shoes were not it.
My free cams means fuck you, pay me, red gifts, soundgasm, donate to Child Find America. Okay. Yes to the order. Soundgasm, the thumbnail is almost right. It's almost right. There's gotta be one. The first thing on here is Andy's face. I'm like, no, we're not. Can't do that. That would be weird. Okay, maybe. I like that. Let's see. Too much. Well, yeah. Tommy's got a lot to say. Okay. What is this? Why is there a little dot 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 for some of them, but not all of them? I don't know. I mean, it looks off-putting, honestly. It looks like I'm telling you don't click on this. And that's not how I mean it. You can and you should click on my Soundgasm. Really though, like, everything that's currently up and available is from the R&D period. It's just from the toe testing period of trying out things. So please don't judge me too harshly. I've grown. I just grew off camera because I was feeling sensitive. So, you know. Now I'm really, like, I'm like, oh no, people are gonna listen to my Soundgasm and it's just gonna be weird. It's just gonna be weird. They're gonna be like, this is so cozy coded. Like, I can't even get off to this. I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not gonna judge you either way. No, now I'm just reaching. What's the right picture for the Soundgasm? No one knows. And the thing is, there is a voice in my head telling me, like, you definitely know, you're just too much of a coward to figure it out. And usually that voice is right, so now I'm just aggro and hungry and I can't find a thumbnail for this, and I'm just getting a little salty. No, too much out and about. Too on the nose. Too private. Too grimy, too grim, too everyone knows that spot. Too specific. That is a meme. Oh, maybe that one. That one might be perfect. Oh yeah, that'll do. That's it. That was the one. Yep, that was totally it. Ding. Teeny. It's small, but it says mutiny. Small but mighty. I bet I can zoom in on it too. I bet I can make it even better. Can we edit that? Change. Like, you can't see the small but mighty mutiny. My one gray hair that I plucked from my head with so much pride. Did you see my gray hair? Did you see it? So bad. Come on, rectangle. Here we go. No. Teeny. Uh-huh. Teeny. Teeny. Cool. Nice. Yes, that looks good. Okay. Now let's see it on the big screen. Nice. Okay. Sickness. Oh yeah. Okay. And then I'll email him. With his link. Who subscribed to my channel? I don't know. Did you mean to do that? Looks like your YouTube account hasn't been trained to love long vids. I put yours up on my Overflow account. It's unlisted, which means anyone with the link can view. Oh wait, that means it's on. That means all of my subscribers can see it too. I'm pretty sure. I need to change that. I thought the unlisted was like Google Drive, but it is not like Google Drive at all. Visibility private. I will share privately with this nerd. Okay. You. Yeah. Done. Okay. Done. Okay. Save. Looks like your YouTube account hasn't been trained to love long vids. I put yours up on my Overflow account and sent you an invite link. Cool. There you go. Sweet. Not a bitch. Kind of a bitch, but working on the bitch aspect of things. Hell yeah. I can't believe people don't love my Satanism jokes. I guess it's too real. I'm thinking boy genius, like, you know, the song Come Be Satanist with Me, but apparently it has other connotations. Warming up in the sunshine, sleeping, girlfriend's day, groceries. That was so cute. Device 3-way, 8:11 a.m. morning coffee, device play, first gone wild audio. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is so far. If you want to get in on the ground, this is the time. I am so uncomfortable right now because I like it. I like it. It's just
Because
ongoing
long
thing. It's just going to get more intense, I can tell.
It is. There's so
But it's cool.
much
cool.
laughter that has to come
I
out of
do
all
have
that
a
tension.
humiliation kink, so I hope it's cool. I was like, what's the best way to code for consent under coercive environments? Like, you have to just lean into your kinks.
That's one way, Cozy. That's one way.
Selling somebody that.
I'm sure some scientists have thought of some much less radical ways.
That was good. I'm glad. I'm actually gonna start a 4-hour workspace today for the Wednesday lovers.
I failed.
And we are at 109, so this is a perfect time to shut up.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. She left me the space just in case I had something to say, but I don't.
Nice. Okay, yeah. I mean, I don't really have anything to say either. That was phenomenal. I covered so many topics so in depth and gave solutions and recommendations and advice and pointed out potential areas of work. I think that's it, really. Good to know that it all already got said.